Imagine the year is 2026. The world holds its breath as tensions in the Persian Gulf reach a boiling point. What would the first 72 hours of a conflict between the United States and Iran actually look like? This isn't a history lesson. This is a glimpse into the future of warfare, where swarms of drones clash with naval titans and digital ghosts haunt the battlefield before the first shot is even fired. Welcome to our deep dive into the first 72 hours, swarms versus titans. The clock starts at hour zero. There's no thunderous declaration of war, no grand speech. Instead, the first move is silent, invisible, and devastating. Across the region, screens go dark. Power grids flicker and fail. Communication networks collapse into chaos. This is the opening act, a massive, coordinated cyber attack that cripples critical infrastructure, sowing confusion and blinding the enemy. Military command and control systems, civilian services, financial markets, all are targeted in a digital blitz designed to paralyze the opponent from the inside out. Before a single missile is launched, the digital battlefield is already a raging inferno. While this virtual war unfolds, the physical conflict begins in the narrow, strategic waters of the Strait of Hormuz. But this isn't the naval warfare of the 20th century. Look to the skies. Thousands of small, agile, and intelligent drones rise from hidden launch sites along the Iranian coast. They move not as individual units, but as a coordinated swarm, a single, thinking entity with 1,000 eyes and 1,000 stings. Their target? The Titans of the sea, the US Navy's formidable destroyers and cruisers, billion-dollar warships that have long guaranteed American naval supremacy. These aren't simple hobby drones. We are talking about advanced unmanned aerial vehicles, some packed with explosives, others equipped with sophisticated electronic warfare pods designed to jam and confuse the powerful Aegis combat systems of the American warships. The swarm strategy is one of overwhelming saturation. It's a numbers game. Can a handful of highly advanced, multi-million-dollar defensive missiles stop a relentless wave of thousands of cheaper, expendable drones? For the sailors aboard these US vessels, the sky becomes a nightmare of incoming threats from every direction. The Phalanx COBUS, the ship's last line of defense, spins to life, a Gatling gun spewing a wall of lead at supersonic speeds. But the swarm is relentless. It probes, it sacrifices some of its own to identify weaknesses, and it adapts in real time. Drones dive at the ship's sensitive radar arrays, their communication antennas, and their vertical launch systems. The goal isn't necessarily to sink these titans in the first wave, but to blind and disarm them, leaving them vulnerable to the next phase of the attack. The first 24 hours are a chaotic, brutal dance between quantity and quality, a new doctrine of asymmetric warfare playing out in real time. As we cross the 24-hour mark, the initial shock gives way to a calculated and ferocious response. The digital and drone-based opening has been bloody, but the American military machine is far from broken. It's now a matter of escalation. The US carrier strike groups, positioned strategically outside the immediate swarm zone, are unleashed. These floating fortresses represent the pinnacle of conventional military power, and they are about to bring their full force to bear. But they won't be charging headfirst into the drone-infested strait. The era of close-quarters naval battles is fading. Instead, the response comes from a distance. F-35 Lightning II and F-A-18 Super Hornet jets scream off the carrier decks, but they're not dogfighting. They are launching long-range, precision standoff munitions. We're talking about cruise missiles like the Tomahawk and advanced air-to-ground missiles that can travel hundreds of kilometers, guided by a network of satellites, drones, and special forces on the ground. Their targets are the nerve centers of Iran's offensive capabilities. Hidden ballistic missile sites carved into mountainsides, coastal anti-ship missile batteries, drone command and control hubs, and Revolutionary Guard Corps bases are systematically identified and struck. Each strike is designed to be surgical, minimizing collateral damage but maximizing the impact on Iran's ability to continue its swarm attacks and launch a more devastating second wave. It's a high-tech, long-range decapitation strategy, attempting to sever the head of the snake before it can strike again. But Iran was prepared for this. Their strategy was never about a single knockout blow. It was about resilience and layered defense. In response to the American precision strikes, a new phase of the conflict begins. From deep within the Iranian heartland, the ground trembles. Silos open and mobile launchers elevate as Iran unleashes its most powerful deterrent, volleys of ballistic missiles. These aren't just aimed at military targets in the Gulf. They arc high into the atmosphere, targeting Allied air bases, logistical hubs, and command centers across the region. Every US base, Every port hosting Allied ships becomes a potential target. This creates a terrifying new calculus for the United States and its partners. Suddenly, the conflict is no longer contained to the waters of the Strait of Hormuz. It has spilled over, threatening a much wider regional conflagration. The American and Allied missile defense systems, the Patriots and THAAD batteries, light up the night sky, streaking upwards to intercept the incoming warheads. It becomes a desperate race, a shield against a sword, where every successful interception prevents a catastrophe, and every missile that gets through could change the course of the war. Hours 24 to 48 are defined by this terrifying exchange of long-range fire, a deadly duel fought over hundreds, even thousands, of kilometers. Now we enter the third day, the 48-hour mark. The military escalation has reached a fever pitch, but the most profound impact is now being felt far from the battlefield. The Strait of Hormuz, the artery through which a huge portion of the world's oil flows, is now a no-go zone. It's choked with wreckage, patrolled by swarms, and overshadowed by the threat of missile strikes. No tanker captain, no insurance company will risk passage. The global oil supply is effectively slashed overnight. The reaction is immediate and global. Oil prices don't just climb, they skyrocket. On the trading floors of New York, London, and Tokyo, panic sets in. The price per barrel doubles, then triples, in a matter of hours. This isn't just a number on a screen. This translates directly to the price you pay at the pump, the cost of shipping goods, the price of food, and the stability of the global economy. Nations dependent on imported energy, from Europe to East Asia, face an impending economic crisis. Stock markets plummet as the world braces for a global recession triggered by a regional war. The economic fallout fuels a diplomatic firestorm. At the United Nations in New York, emergency sessions are convened. The Security Council becomes a theater of accusation and vetoes. Allies of the US are pressured to join the fight, while other global powers call for an immediate ceasefire, trying to protect their own economic interests and prevent a wider war. China and Russia, with their own strategic interests in the region, are forced to pick sides, not just with words, but potentially with military and economic support. The world is forced to confront a terrifying reality. A conflict that started with silent cyber attacks and small drones has in just 72 hours blocked a vital global waterway, sent the world economy into a nosedive, and pushed the international community to the brink of a much larger, more dangerous confrontation. The lines between regional conflict and global crisis have completely blurred. The hypothetical scenario has become a terrifying reality, and as the 72-hour mark passes, the world is left asking the same question: what happens next? The actions taken in these first 3 days have set the stage for a conflict that could reshape the 21st century. Thank you for joining us on this speculative journey into the future of conflict. Scenarios like this highlight how technology is changing the face of warfare and how interconnected our world truly is. If you found this analysis insightful, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Let us know in the comments what you think the most critical factor would be in a conflict like this. Thanks for watching.